a question before every race. What do we think is going to be... Actually, we start right now. Let's go ahead and watch the mock tutorial, apparently. And the first item, we're going to wait for the layout to change over here, but the first item... Oh, the Moon Pearl!
Okay. Now, again, with this being an Uncle-assured sword, we can assure that Uncle's going to give us a sword.
Yep, so no fire rod or hammer, or for the people like me who love to see them suffer, bombs.
We did get a map check. I saw crystals at Eastern and Hera, and I couldn't tell if Desert was either a red pendant or a red crystal.
I did not catch it, unfortunately. I'm going to hope that Qirn does a map check later and gives us a double check of that. We do have a big 20 in the chest south of the Uncle. So I'm going to take a moment to explain the mode icons at the top. Jexreferee was talking about it in the pre-race, but I just want to clarify it for anyone who's just tuning in and wants to know what those icons mean. What that means, the Ganon head means that this is a defeat Ganon seed. The Zelda icon means that you have to rescue Zelda, so it's standard mode. The other option will be Link up there to show open mode. The Uncle holding a sword means you get the sword from the Uncle, and N means normal. You'll see either N or H. H would be hard. The fact that there's an empty slot next to the N means that there's no twist tied in. That's where you would see the boss key for key sanity or the big key. That's where you would see enemy, some kind of enemy for an Randomizer, or the retro link for retro mode seeds. So there's your explanation of the icons at the top for those of you watching who just tuned in.
And for anyone new to Randomizer, we randomized all the items in the world. Dungeon items are still the same. So you saw the small key in the first chest of Hyrule Escape. In Hyrule, Hyrule's Castle, we only have the map and the small key, so we've seen that. We just have to look out for the map, and everything else will be randomized items.
And Qirn has taken out the guard key from the enemy in that next room, from the guard in that next room. There is an unknown item in the chest here. I'm going to take a quick moment for Big 20. So I'm going to take a moment to explain why we do this escape. This is actually the normal way that the Link to the Past game is played. You have to go through the rain to the castle to find the princess. That's why we call it standard mode. So this has to be done. The reason is because the world does not open up for easy access and save of any kind of cheating, which we're not going to do here. But it does not open up for access until the princess is back in the sanctuary. That's when the rain stops. That's when you can do whatever you want to do at that point. And at that point, where players go can differ. There can be some road divergence. Anything can happen. And it looks like Qirn is going to be setting up a death warp here, interestingly. Which, either that or he just had a hard time with the fight. He did take a heart back. Argelxd did... Nope, they can't death warp with the princess anyway, so they're going to make their way out. That was a little scary for a second there for Qirn.
Yeah. We did see the map in Zelda itself, so everything else is going to be randomized items from here. You will also notice that both runners were paying careful attention to find a bomb, because there's those 3 items in the back of Escape that you don't want to have to come back for. So all of the item drops on the enemies have been randomized. So in standard mode, you'll usually see our runners trying to get a bomb farmed off of one of the guards. But since both of them have 2, we're all good.
Yep, they're not going to have to farm for bombs to get to the back of Hyrule Castle, and hopefully they find some bombs in a chest to help with their other bomb searches. We're going to need 2 in the Kakariko Village. We're going to need 2 in the south, I want to call it southeast Hyrule, for Mini Moldarm Cave and Ice Rod Cave. And I think there are a couple others we can use somewhere in Light World as well. Plus, we're going to need some of the Dark World later. So they will need a lot more bombs later. This will at least get us through the back escape, though. So both runners are now heading towards the darkened section of Escape. Now, fun fact that normally this light cone is always there in this mode. It doesn't matter if they have the lamp or not. In the vanilla game, you would have the lamp by now because it's literally the first item you open. You can't not get it. The princess won't let you go back here without it in the vanilla game. So in standard mode, you're not always, in the randomizer, you're not guaranteed to have the lamp back here, so you're always going to have that light cone on this trip. In open mode, you will not have that light cone, so you have to route this in if you have the lamp, unless you're comfortable doing the room in the dark. And after you take the princess back to the sanctuary, you can't come back here without the lantern either, again, without being completely in the dark.
You know what's funny about that? I've played this game for almost 30 years, and I've always gotten the lamp whenever I play the standard game. It never dawned on me that, like, oh, what happens if you don't get the lamp?
Yeah, I've seen it attempted, and the game literally stops you from progressing. And it's actually set up in such a way that if you don't get the lamp from the first chest, and you go south of Uncle, you're going to find the lamp in that chest instead. So the randomizer kind of borrows that in the easy mode by having 2 of an item available, and if you find one, you can't find the other anymore.
Both runners are pretty much in sync at this point. Just gotta get Zelda to Sanctuary.
And actually, something I didn't point out, according to messages in chat, yes, it can also be in Zelda's room if you miss those 2, if you miss it in both chests as well. So you can find it down in Zelda's room, the last chest you check if you skip everything else. And $300 in the Sanctuary. So looking at the sprites, I'm not sure offhand exactly what argelxd's version of Link is, but Qirn is playing the kind old man from Death Mountain who is going to eventually rescue his twin. I did see crystals, I think, on Eastern Palace and Tower of Hera. I did also miss Desert Palace there. Hopefully Jack can help us out with that.
My eyes went right to it. It was the pendant.
Perfect, perfect.
To your point about Argelxd's sprite, that is the swatchy Link. So the body matches the color of the tunic, the whole head matches the color of the hat.
Interesting. And hearts on the tree pole today. Qirn is the first to drop into the hole in the Lost Woods area. We find some arrows, it looks like, in the top half. 50 rupees down in the hole. We got the lovely beeping from Qirn, whose audio we have active with 1 heart. Qirn also checks that tree pole, finds the hearts.
I do have to say, it was very interesting to see the $300 in Sanctuary. I almost would have considered going and doing a Houlihan at that point, because then you know you have the $600 for Zora and the bottle vendor.
At the same time, there's a good chance with that much money already found in the seed that you're going to find at least a little bit more from Kakariko, because there's a lot of chests in Kakariko. So I would say at this point, in this kind of seed, perhaps if you don't find a lot of money at the start, a Houlihan might be a good strat. And just explain what the Houlihan is. It's kind of like a glitch strat. You find a way into a room that you're normally not supposed to get to. And there's ways to trick the game into not knowing where you're going. So we have a big 20, some bombs, and I didn't see what Argo had, but another big 20 and another wide rupee hoard there.
So, yeah, my whole idea about Houlihan would not have been a good idea.
Yeah, so right away, that means 800 rupees without Houlihan. So, yeah, the Houlihan strategy is a good strategy in cases where you don't get a lot of money to start, but it also takes a little bit of time to set that up. And because of that, in an open seed where you're going to have access to a lot of chests to start anyway, it seems to me there's not much point to doing the Houlihan until you know you're going to need it. Because otherwise, you're going to have a lot of extra money that you just waste time getting that you don't need.
Alright, we got a bottle with a B-Torp, we got a Fisher Price My First Shield, and a heart piece. So, we'll be able to take care of Sick Kid.
We have a bottle vendor coming up here as well. Bottle vendor gives you today another 100 rupees. So yeah, we're filthy rich right now, I guess you could say.
Basically, he takes your old, ragged 100 rupees and gives you new, shiny 100 rupees. We also got a pseudo chicken clip on Argelxd's side, but we do also get a power glove.
So that's going to be halfway towards the Dark World access with the lifting mitts in the north of Kakariko to where Village of Outcasts would be. We're halfway towards that now. We still could potentially have a hammer. We did not have a lumberjack check, so we don't have information on that yet. Sick Kid gives you some spices today, some lovely spices. and a piece of heart from Argel in the tavern, back of the tavern. Little fun fact about that tavern area, in the front half of the tavern, you find a character who actually will tell you some kind of punny joke if you care to take the time to entertain yourself with that. The runners, however, will rarely do that.
No, they got a race to run. They're not too worried about punny jokes at this point. We provide those, Blind provides those. They ain't concerned with them at all.
Exactly. Why do you need an extra one? So Argel takes the strategy to investigate the race game item, which we now know is bombs. Qirn just decides to go straight in, and he may pick up those bombs, because he only has 3 of them, but in general, later in the seed, the bombs will not be an important item.
Fun fact, that one stone that Argel turned over has a 50-50 chance of having a bomb, so that's why you'll more than likely see the runners pull that.
Argel's the first... Sorry?
No, that's okay. I do have to say, anytime I see powder early, makes me worried about early magic bat. Because usually if I see powder this early, once I get the hammer, usually magic bat has something.
You also need the Titan Mitts, I believe, to do that. So, yeah, that's the 3 items that would be required for the magic bat. But yeah, the powder is a good indication that the magic bat could be required. We're going to get another chance to see what's outside in a second. Cane of Berta is found, so Brian, please check into the dam and get your cane. The $300, it looks like Argel's not picking that up because he's already rich, so you can also get $300 while you're at it. And we're getting our first look at Mini Moldorm Cave. To explain why it's called Mini Moldorm Cave, there it is. We have 4 Mini Moldorms. Pretty simple reason why it's called Mini Moldorm Cave.
I prefer to call them Mini Trolldorms because of their big brother.
So 5 items in the back of Mini Moldorm Cave. We have today the Blue Mail, the Flippers, 10 wooden sticks that we can't use yet, the Quake Medallion, and 10 more wooden sticks. Now I want to explain the medallion very quickly. That Quake Medallion is one of 3 medallions in the game. You may notice in the bottom row of the tracker there is 2 dungeons at the end that have a blank circle in them. One of those 3 medallions is required. The medallions are Bombos, Ether, and Quake in that order. When we find out what medallion is required for those, we will fill those in on the tracker. And runner can't get into that dungeon without that particular medallion. That's how that works. So we're going to find out later what medallions are needed to access those, and if they are actually crystals and therefore 100% required. That will have some impact on the routing today.
Argel trying to make his way to Ice Rod Cave, but needs to be careful. Only half a heart, and even with Blue Mail, those crabs will do a heart of damage. Yeah,
some of the stronger enemies in the main Hyrule area.
Are we getting like all the $300 drops this seed?
This is the Go Do Everything Now seed.
So we've got all of Zora open to us. We've got the 3 items in Sahasrah's closet and most of Eastern. So there's a bunch of locations left to try to find that hammer or the Titan's Mitts.
And one you did not mention is the guy under the unfortunate man under the bridge, the hobo as the community likes to call him. We are going to go visit him with ALTTTPR right now. Qirn is now making his swim, and let's see if he goes by the hobo as well. They're pretty much mirroring each other in routing so far, so thinking our job's pretty easy. Argel is the first to get to the hobo, and the hobo giveth his life savings. I guess he had no use for it anymore.
I mean, he's living under a bridge. What does he need $20 for?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta feel bad for him. He's living under a bridge.
This is true.
So Argel is not working his way around. I didn't catch the island item, but I'm sure Qirn will probably check that as well. So we'll get another look at that.
He already checked it first. I don't remember if it was a big 20 or a heart piece, but it was nothing important.
Okay, good to know. We're getting a look at Waterfall Cave right now. There is a fairy in the pond in the middle, so he may choose to... Yeah, he got rid of the bee. I thought he might do that. So he's going to find out what is given in Waterfall Cave. Hopefully it's a potion. That's what he would like, or a fairy. Yep, it's green goo, so we got a magic refill. I'm surprised he didn't just drink that right away and get a fresh one, but I guess he's collect that later. We have a hammer, by the way, in Waterfall Cave. That's a great pickup.
Yep, so...
And another 300 rupees.
Another $300, yes.
Didn't even catch that at first, what that was. He does indeed drink the magic, and Qirn also does the bottle filling strategy. So he doesn't need to fill up his magic. He's already got a full magic jar.
Alright, Zora Ledge. Just a big 20. So with all this cash we've gotten, it certainly stems to reason we should have more than enough money for Zora.
I just realized that you saw that my stream's probably a little bit behind, so I just caught it up here. Sorry if I was a little behind on that chat. We are getting we are getting up to King Zora right now, and we're going to see what his item is right now. $500 today gets you the most expensive bombs you will ever see.
Exactly.
I guess it's not that bad. At least he didn't just give us back $5.
Or $1.
Yeah. Or an arrow.
But both runners are once again going to be staying on the same path. I imagine we're going to head for Hype Cave next. Alright, map check in Dark World, Thieves Town, Pod, 5-6 crystals, Mire, green pendant, Swamp House, blue pendant.
That looks like what I saw as well, so that is accurate. And we're getting that same map check from argelxd in case we need to see it again. So, and those other three, of course, are crystals: Turtle Rock, Skullwoods, and Ice Palace.
Alright, let's see what we got in Hype Cave today. We've got a piece of hearts.
Boring start.
We've got a swagnet, a bloomerang, a piece of heart, and 10 sticks. Ew.
Well, I'll give that a 3 only because we can use the swag non-acronym later if we want to.
So now we finally get some divergence, although fourth dimensional divergence. Argel is in the light world heading for Sahasrahla, Qirn is in the dark world heading for Pyramid.
And this is the first time the runners have really diverged in the seed at the 18-minute point, so we're going to get to see some different information right now. I'm going to keep an eye on Qirn as he goes to the Pyramid. argelxd is heading towards the back, or Sahasrahla's hut right now. He's going to see what's in his closet today.
Closet check, red meringue, piece of heart, and another piece of heart.
And meanwhile, on the Pyramid, we just had another trio of bombs. I mean, we just bought them for $500. We could have just got these ones instead.
Qirn, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and head up to Catfish while he's here.
Not a bad play, I like.
Yeah, I agree. Argel, on the other hand, is most likely going to head for the north portal at Kakariko and probably either do Skullwoods or Thieves Town.
So we're not too far away from the Catfish at this point. We know that the Catfish always has something valuable. I'll just say it's the single arrow, just for fun. And this Catfish check is something that runners very often will put off because it is a very out-of-the-way item. Some runners will try to route it in with other checks, such as try and do King Zora at the same time. Of course, that requires the mirror to be able to mirror from this location back to the light world. So there are ways to route this in with other checks. Oh, we got... What is that fish doing holding the Master Sword?
I don't know. Usually Catfish holds trash.
Yeah, that's actually a valuable item. I was right that it held something valuable, I just didn't get the correct valuable item.
And it looks like Argel is at least going to do Village of Outcasts. I would imagine he probably does Thieves Town after this as well.
Something I neglected to mention as we found the Master Sword. Qirn was, I think, checking the stun prize with the boomerang, and he did find out that it is bombs today. We have the bow in the treasure game.
We have a D, so that means our 5-6 crystals are now full clearable.
That's never a good feeling at this point, is it?
Yeah, and Qirn doing the thing that I mentioned earlier. If the game gives you magic powder early, you probably should go check magic powder.
And today he says, I curse you by removing your explosives.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why it's called anecdotal evidence for a reason.
argelxd, meanwhile, is working his way through Thieves Town. Let's see what the two chests down here in the bottom section of the right side give you. One is the big key, which we knew that had to be one of them, so the other one is something else. That something else is a full heart container. Already 7 hearts in this seed for argelxd. Not a bad life total for this early in the run.
And especially having that Cane of Brine will certainly... you got more than enough to take care of Blind.
So Argel is now taking out the skeletons. He got the key from the pod at the back, and is now going to continue into the main part of the dungeon. I think they were called Zazags, if I'm getting the name correctly, are the rhinoceros enemies there. They are some very powerful enemies you want to be careful around, but you can just hammer them and get them out of the way.
I believe they're called Zyzax.
Oh, I'm saying that wrong. My mistake.
No worries. Alright, Heart Container is the first item in Skullwoods. A unique item is in Ganon's Tower. Woohoo, game! It's not like there's 27 item locations, and is probably the biggest percent chance of a unique item being there. Thank you so much for that helpful hint.
Yeah, thanks, game. That's very useful. We're hoping we can find some much more useful hint tiles later. Argel is about to blow up the hole in the Sunshine Room, and the reason I call it the Sunshine Room, well, you see the window. The sun is coming in there. We have a cape in that room. Now, the reason he blew up the hole in that room, I should point out, is so that when you later get the maiden from the basement, lo and behold, it's not a maiden, it's actually an evil monster who wants to kill you. That's the reason that hole is blown up on the floor. And in Skullwoods today, the first item we see here is a compass, so that's not something of use. He waits for the hand to help him out back to the entrance. Saves some time. And the Wallmaster obliges and he leaves.
Yep.
argelxd, meanwhile, is working his way through the basement of Thieves Town. And he is now in the room with the maiden. He's going to walk through 3 locked doors here. And those locked doors are now open. Well, now open. Almost opened. And he got a fairy from the pot, and looks like we have nothing of use in that chest. Just another circle. Getting a look at Bumper Cave here, 20 bucks.
Thieves Town Big Chest nets us another 20 bucks.
Yep. Now, for anyone who's new to Randomizer, I believe that is the most common item in the game. I think there's something like 28 of those, or at least there's a lot of them. It's double digits for sure. Bombs in the C-shaped house today. argelxd is about to encounter the first boss of the game. We're about to meet Blind. He's going to say a funny pun in maiden form. The chimney sweep wore a suit and tie. I'll give him a 3 out of 10 for that one. So Qirn is now following in Argel's footsteps through Thieves Town. He does have a few extra checks that Argel still will have to route in later at some point. May go and do those immediately, in fact, but we'll see what he decides to do. Argel does meanwhile get the blind fight down very, very quickly. I like that. And that's the first crystal for him for Thieves Town today. That is one of the 5-6 crystals, so if he decides to do Skull Woods, it makes it very interesting to wonder if he might be trying to route in the Pyramid Fairy check very early. That will be available to him, I believe, at that time.
Pod was the other 5-6 crystal, not Skull Woods.
Oh, am I looking at the... We have an icon saying that it is Skull Woods. My mistake. We have 3 of those icons on our tracker. That's why I was confused. Yeah, Palace Darkness is the other 5-6. You are correct.
Yeah, I would think, given that we found the bow so early, I would have to think, you may want to go, since Pod is also a full clearable crystal dungeon and a 5-6 crystal, that's probably where I would be heading anyway.
Qirn gets that useful hint about Gan's Tower. Top-notch hint. And Argel is indeed following in the footsteps that Qirn did going through Skull Woods. So they are basically just covering things that each other's already done. I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you to follow these runners. They're doing a good job putting on a show for us today. And they definitely would love to have people watching them play the game and practicing and being able to chat with them and have a good time together. So definitely go by their streams and check them out.
I know they would certainly appreciate it.
Qirn has to deal with that bug as he leaves the Sunshine Room area in Thieves Town, heading downstairs. He's going to work his way to the Maiden and a couple of big 20s down there before he fights Blind. So the good question is, now that they're coming to the point where they basically covered each other's steps, as Argel takes the death, doesn't wait for the hand, where do you think they're going to go after this, Chex Refi?
Pod probably makes the most sense. You've got the bow and the hammer. It's a fully clearable crystal dungeon. There's 5 items there. That also nets you the other part of the 5-6 crystals to do Fat Fairy. All of those reasons to me say, yeah, you should go to Pod.
Yeah, and because of the item density, I would agree with that. They can do Eastern Palace as well, of course, because the bow is the only thing needed there to finish, except for the lamp, which... Let's keep in mind, they don't have the lamp yet. Now, the runners will do dark rooms in many of the runners here are proficient with dark rooms, so this is not a deterrent to the runners to avoid Palace of Darkness or Eastern Palace, which both have, interestingly enough, dark rooms. But because the lamp is not in their possession yet, this basically means that the Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace can be visited and still be in logic for the initial visit. But the lamp may be required to finish it, is required to finish it in logic, and any items behind the dark room would be a sequence break if they were to finish the dungeon. So this is something we do have to keep in mind to see what they decide to do in terms of logical progression today. So Qirn now matches argelxd with his first crystal, one of the 5-6 crystals from Thieves Town, after defeating Blind. And argelxd is... Oh, sorry, you were going to say it.
I think we were about to say the same thing.
Yep.
But Argel was going to go check digging game, which was new, but 2 digs get a big 20, and at 980 rupees, sayonara.
Yeah, we didn't have the music, but it looks like that was it, because he obviously left right away and said, nope, not worth my time. He's going to do his check of Stumpy. Qirn just picked up his bow. I think our tracker showed it for a little while there, so we apologize for that, but he did just get the bow, and he's going to start using that now. argelxd gets a big 20 from Stumpy. We can't do the other half of that on the other side in the high row yet, which is the shovel spot, so we will have to come back there later. Qirn just continues cleaning out the chest in Thieves Town.
If you, well, the way that I know that the big 20 is the prize from the dig game is that you notice how some of the rupees have a shine to them, like a shine animation. If you watch on Qirn's end, when that big 20 gets dug up, it doesn't have that shine animation. That's how you'll know it's the prize from the digging game. That's
a very good point. That's something I often fail to consider. So that's a very good way to know, and that's a very good tip for anyone. Yeah, there it is. You can see it right there. Just very good point. Good eye on that, Jex Refi.
I'm at least good for something.
Argel's going to check the pyramid. We know that's just a batch of bombs sitting there. So Qirn is heading... Looks like he's going to check Stumpy as well. They are tracing again each other's steps at this point. So this is not new information for either of them. For us, from either of them right now. I think Argel is making the Palace of Darkness play that you suggested.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. He's not heading north for Catfish, so he's going to miss out on that sword upgrade for now.
Yeah, that is a huge combat difference as well, unless he happens to find another sword in here, but then, even then, Qirn would be able to eventually get that and maintains a sword upgrade advantage from that Catfish. So, the Catfish is coming into play today, being the difference in sword fighting capabilities.
Won't be an issue in Eastern or Pod at this point, but later on, if Argel neglects Catfish, that could make a significant difference later on. And
there's something else to keep in mind as well. Argel loses Kiki, so he has to go get robbed of another 10 bucks to take another shot at it. Not a big deal because he's rich. Doesn't want to take a chance this time, uses a sword to try and get out of the way. What I was going to say until we lost the monkey for a moment there is that both runners do have the hammer as well, so they can use that in place of the tempered sword anyway, and it will do significant damage to whatever they need to fight. So since both runners are likely to use the hammer without a tempered sword on more difficult enemies, it may not be that much of a combat advantage except where the sword is required for any kind of fight.
Alright, so we're going to get some fourth-dimensional simultaneous dungeon action as Qirn's in Eastern, Argel's in Pod, which would have
a big key.
Which was a big key, which would have meant it was bow locked, but since both runners have the bow, not going to be an issue today.
Exactly, they're going to go that side and see if they can find a couple keys over there to proceed. And Qirn finds the compass in the first chest in Eastern Palace. I think Eastern Palace is also new information, so we do have 2 dungeons being cleared for the first time on this race.
We're also going to get some more hints, which may or may not be useful. The unique item is a Mimic Cave. That is mildly useful.
That's about 50-50 useful. It depends on what the unique item is. I mean, the unique item could be something like, well, actually, it could be something like the Ice Rod, or it could be something like, I don't know, a single arrow. And we knew there had to be at least 1 key on this side of Palace of Darkness. Argel did find a key. There's actually a second key there, so... Ooh, there's where the mirror is in Eastern Palace today.
Nice. So... Okay, big chest.
Some arrows in the big chest of Swamp Palace. That's out of commission now.
Yep. So, with that mirror, normally you'd like to combo Pod Eastern by mirroring from Pod into Eastern, but, well, he's going to have to go back to the portal no matter what.
Yeah, we can't do the combo here today, and I'm sure Argel didn't come in here looking for the mirror, but he knew he had to consider one of these two because he can fully complete it even without the lamp if he wishes. Like you see Qirn going through the dark room right now. If there is any important item back here beyond this dark room, this is a sequence break. I want to just be very clear of that. So if it's something like a big 20, it won't matter, or a piece of heart or a heart container, but any important item, it is a sequence break. He should not have this item yet by the logic.
As I usually like to say with the caliber of runners that we have in this tournament, lamps, where we're going, we don't need lamps.
And the other side of that is this a big key, so that now extends to the boss, which is also, ironically enough, behind a dark room.
Also would extend to this big chest that Qirn's about to open.
Correct.
And it's just triple bombs, so who really cares?
Yeah, pretty much. And taking the health refill after the damage he took in Eastern Palace so far. ALTTTPR is going up the collapsing drawbridge, as I like to call it. Trying to set up the hammer yump, misses, so he's going to have to take a second shot at it if he wants to do that. This is done in order to save a key on the left side, on the west side. If he can avoid spending that key, that's one less key we have to actually find in the palace somewhere. It's an extremely pixel-perfect trick. You have to put the bomb and Link in the precise locations to pull off this trick. Very hard to do. He does get it on the second try, as you noticed. Qirn is working his way through that dark room to get to the back of Eastern Palace. Argel is working his way through to two chests that we may not see what their contents are. Well,
we got boots!
We got booties. We did see what that was. Being very careful to avoid the fireballs from the enemies here and trying to get to the top left. He did get one of them all the way up, so the chest is up there in the top left somewhere.
Argel still having some problems in the dark as Qirn makes his way into the Outermost Nights.
He must be getting closer by now. I'm trying to think where he might have gone in this room so far. Outermost Nights is a very quick fight, by the way, with 18 arrows. Just pop them into the boss and get the Cane of Samaria, just like that.
Wow.
So that's a pretty good Eastern Palace today. We have, first of all, the Mirror of World Transportation, and then the It's Gotta Be Cane of Samaria.
Argel is still having a rough time with that dark room.
So I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about this being a sequence break. The Cane of Samaria is a unique enough and required enough item that this is a significant sequence break in the seed. While this would get you into Turtle Rock and being able to do some things in Misery Mire to get to the boss, anything like that is currently not in the logic. So I would not be surprised to see Qirn not consider anything for the Cane of Samaria until a point where the lantern is found, or until a point where he is in go mode and may not care at that point anymore anyway.
I think the interesting question, though, is what really do we have left to check where that lamp could be? Because we checked Skullwoods, that's done.
This is a very good question, because they can't mirror to the Desert Palace, or use the book.
But that mirror was before the sequence break of the lamp. But they don't have the lamp to get up to. But they don't have the lamp to get up to Death Mountain, so Death Mountain is still logically out of commission. So, realistically, that has to mean it's probably in Swamp Palace.
I was referring mostly to the fact that they don't have the flute to get to the Misery Mire area yet to mirror to the Desert Palace area, so they still can't access Desert Palace, or Misery Mire, or Turtle Rock. Go ahead.
But when you mentioned desert, that also means we haven't checked the Guinness Cave.
Correct. Desert Guinness Cave is still there. I'm mentioning in chat as well about K45 because that's a mirror location. The Graveyard Ledge is a mirror location, so these are mirror accessible locations. They could be the lamp because the lamp would get you to the back again of Eastern Palace.
We should also point out that Argel finally got the second checks in the Dark Maze, and it was the Silver Arrows, and I think he's had enough of that Dark Room. Yeah,
I saw him doing some sword slashes there, but at least he'll be happy to finally have those Silver Arrows, but as you know, that's a little bit of a time loss there, unfortunately, and he's going to have to make up that time with some good execution. So we're in the other Dark Room right now. We find a piece of heart in the one chest. Let's see if we can find out what's in the other chest here. A key. So we get to at least see what all the Dark Room items are, Tay. That's convenient. And there's Argel's Master Sword. So we know Qirn will eventually find his Temper Sword in here, because that's those are progressive upgrades. You will always get them in order, which is why you saw Argel get Master Sword there, where Qirn got his at the Catfish.
Argel trying to make the free throw, forgot that, hey, I already hit it with the skull, I don't need to hit it with the bomb. Interesting that Qirn is YOLOing for Helmassar. I imagine he'll probably go back in after, finishing off Helmassar.
Yeah, it is very interesting that Argel has not gotten back here yet, and Qirn has already done this without getting the items. Very, very interesting play today.
Yeah, I think he went straight here after getting the 2 keys from the Bowlock side. If I had to guess, it's probably that because he had to go bow side, just go straight to Helmassar, then after killing Helmassar, go back in and then do the rest of the item checks.
Yeah, as long as he's careful with his keys, because it is still possible. I don't know if they fixed all of this, but I know in the past it has been possible to have the keys used on doors in such a way that you could soft lock yourself, even if the logic didn't have you in a way that you would soft lock. I don't know if that's fully fixed, but I know the devs have been working hard on that. It may be resolved by now, so you may want to be very careful with that, just in case there is still some of that possible in there.
Well, with that one being in the dark... No, wait, 2 keys. Let's just hope Qirn doesn't do that.
Yeah. This is the danger with YOLOing the boss, as you put it. So anyway, we are going to get into the Helmassar King fight right now, as Argel is in the dark again. Qirn is hammering that mask, as you can see, using the sword as a means of protection, holding it out. The mask now has 2 cracks in it. That thing is about to come off. He does not have the silver arrows, so this will be a slightly harder fight than Argel will have to do later. So he is going to continue to try and do sword swings now into the Helmassar King's eyes, and not reaching the skull, so it is still surviving. He will eventually hit the skull, and he will eventually use the arrows. Yeah, he's shooting those into the skull. And he got enough damage, and let's see what Helmassar King drops as Argel now starts his fight. Argel's difference in the fight will be that he will drop a silver arrow into the skull, and that will take it out instantly once the mask is off. So he will have a little bit of a quicker fight here. We didn't have anything useful from the fight, however, but we are going to get a crystal. Ooh, this is the first shot with the arrow. 2, 3, there it goes.
And predictably, Qirn heads back in.
He does still have 1 key, so it looks like we are going to be okay in the key situation here, which is very good to see. Argel, meanwhile, has cleaned out everything here. He will leave, and I wonder if he's going to head to Eastern Palace at this time, because that seems to be the best play for him right now.
Well, he's going to save and quit, which, without the mirror, he would have had to do. And we'll see if he makes a right turn,
Yep.
so that probably means he's heading for Eastern.
Exactly, he's heading that way, no question. Qirn does not do the hammer jump, as we like to call it. That's the strategy. That's the jump I was talking about earlier. Qirn just gets his tempered sword, so he has bacon of some form now.
Yeah, I think the reason Argel did it is a means to save time, where you're basically going where on that first ascent up the bridge, if you have the key, you can then just hammer jump and go the back way, so that when you come out, you're then straight into the next portion. Whereas if you do it the way the game kind of intends it to, you kind of have to do 2 loops.
Qirn realized he forgot a chest in here, then realized he only has 1 key, and I think he wants to save that key until he does the left side. That is probably a very good idea.
Well, I also think it might also be that he's realizing that I'm pretty sure it is a small key, and given the layout,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it has to be a small key in the in the Harmless Hellway.
You're correct. I think he might have taken that into account, just like you said. I didn't catch how many keys he's picked up so far, but because he does have because there is only the one way into that room, it is possible for keys to lock other keys, and those keys would not need to be picked up. So he must have thought, well, I can unlock that door, but that's the only way in, so it's probably a key. I'm not going to waste my time and just go straight through.
And a save and quit once getting all the progression that is in pod.
And back to the Sanctuary he goes. Now, he does have the Power Glove. I'm wondering if he's going to try to sequence break Death Mountain at this point. Nope, he's going the other way. He made me a liar. Argel gets his mirror in Eastern Palace. And he... Go ahead.
I think Qirn's forgetting that you need Titan's Mitts for Flanctuary and King's Tomb.
Yep, I was just going to point that out too, because he wanted to go in there. So now he is turning around. He's going to sequence break Death Mountain. No, he's doing the Bonk Rocks, actually. I'm still a liar. A full heart container in the Bonk Rocks.
Now, finally, I think we're about to see this sequence break up Death Mountain.
Yep. This is a very... because the large quantity of items up here, it's possible for a huge sequence break and a lot of confusion. But he is going to check the Lumberjack Ledge first. And let's see what is there, because we have no information. Oh, that's a rod.
Oh!
That's a fire rod. Or an ice
That
rod.
is a fire... That's a fire rod, and that's a confirmed AGA 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aghanim is required. Get ready for some blue ball action later once we find that lamp. That's going to tie the logic together. Because this is these dark rooms in Aghanim's Tower are rooms that runners typically do not want to do, because there are pits in that room and it's hard to get through there. So they may look for that lamp just to tie the logic together and then head up there later. Right now, Qirn is going to sequence break Death Mountain. We know the lamp is not up here, so this is just for item collection purposes at this point that he's doing this.
I would also assume he's going to at least try to do Hera, as the old man brings his old man brother home, or twin, or however that works.
It's so nice to see them working together. So Argel is working his way through the dark room. I think that was in Eastern Palace. I know he was already in Eastern Palace. I think he's still there. Trying to work his way through the back dark room right now. And he does emerge, and he is on his way to the Armos Knight's boss now, where he will get his Cane of Samaria, also still in the sequence break.
Qirn also had a little bit of trouble and kind of overshot the ledge for inside a Spectacle Rock.
So we're going to get another hint tile back here. And this is... runners used to just walk in and see what the item was and decide to come back around. Now many of them will just walk up because there's a hint tile they can check while they're here. So they just get whatever the item is. And the hint tile says nothing useful.
Nope. It's a joke tile because it's green text and... yeah.
But those are the most useful hints. I mean, Link's head is on them. So Argo does get his Eastern Palace boss kill. That is now 3 crystals for each runner today. Now, something I should point out as well, since Palace of Darkness and Thieves' Town were the 5-6 crystals. We know the lamp can't be there, but could Pyramid Fairy have something today?
Well, let's review. We are going to need a hook shot. Side note, we got the big key, so coffee break on hold. So we've got hook shot we gotta find. We still have to find the ice rod. And whatever medallion we need for Turtle Rock access, so maybe?
And we also have pedestal possibilities as well. We know that it can't be something like the book because the... Well, actually, no, you know what? If we can get the flute, then we can mirror in there. So yeah, the book could possibly be on pedestal still. There's still a lot of items that could be there. That could be tripping up the runners too. We do know that we do have to get that fire rod, though. We do know that's on Lumberjack Ledge. Argo does not know that yet.
Qirn finding the other joke hint tile.
Nice, both in here. Or one outside in Spectral Rock, so same general area.
Okay, so we haven't seen the small key. And unless the small key can lock itself in Hera, I think that means the small key has to be on Trolldorm, which means we would need a coffee break for an item.
No, this could be an item, and the key could lock itself in Tower Hera. The logic is always designed where the keys can lock themselves. So if you don't get the key, you don't need to go there. Don't worry about it. So let's see what we find here. And for Qirn, it is a piece of heart, so that means the key is down there, and we're not going to be able to even get into the tower room today. So no coffee break for either of our runners today.
That's a relief.
It's a little unfortunate because they might have been a little thirsty, but they're going to have to keep going, unfortunately. And Qirn goes in anyway to take a look at the hint tile. A unique item is the Eastern Palace. Thanks, game! There's the key. I didn't realize he didn't check that. I did not know he did not check that chest. Ugh.
Yeah, I forgot about that also. That also means I was a liar. There is an item, and we do need a coffee break to get it.
We also need a fire source, and since we know the fire rod is on the Lumberjack Ledge, and we need to do Agnes Tower to get that, short of finding the lamp, we pretty much have to do that to get that coffee break.
While Qirn is running his way through Spiral Cave, I was also thinking we'd take a look, because in terms of when we were talking about items that could be in Fat Fairy, we should also point out that things that could be on the pedestal, Hookshot can't because of Swamp Palace.
Correct.
If the Turtle Rock medallion is the Meyer medallion, that can't be on Spectacle Rock. So Ice Rod and maybe a Turtle Rock, maybe a Turtle Rock medallion. That's about it.
Yeah, because Meyer is one of the there's Titan's bits, and a piece of heart in Paradox Cave. So because Meyer is one of the pendants, I should say, that does limit a little bit what can be on the pedestal. We know the flute can't be, for example. That has to be used again in Meyer. So there are some limitations here. But Pyramid Fairy is a good possibility for a lot of those items. That could be the pedestal of this seed. We'll find out later. There's a bottle back there in Paradox Cave with a big 20 in the last chest.
Argel thinking fourth dimensionally, and is able to get the $5 out of King soon.
Robbing the King's grave. That's not a kind alien. Nice shot on that Dead Rock by Qirn. Not that affects anything, just keeps it out of the way. He warps to the Dark Death Mountain. So we are still in a sequence break. The lamp still can't be on this side of Death Mountain because, well, he sequence broke to get to Death Mountain. So this is all still out of sequence, and we know we need that lamp technically for Aghanim as well. So I'm wondering if he's going to wait till he finds that lamp before going to Aghanim.
I mean, do you want to? I guess here's the thing. If you know how to do Dark Room Maga... Oh, by the way, there's a hook shot. If you can do Dark Room Maga, do you want to waste your time in Pendant Swamp?
Maybe not, but there could be something else in Pendant Swamp. You never know.
Alright. We have Bombos needed for Turtle Rock.
We don't have that yet, so no checking that hint tile yet. Here we are in Hookshot Cave, which is just convenient because we just got that. So we're going to be able to do this now. 10 arrows. And we have 3 more chests that we're going to find our way to around here. A big 20. Next is a piece of heart. And finally, on the final chest, we have a piece of something you hold up in front of you, which supposedly defends you.
I don't know. I've seen it deflect fireballs. I've also seen Argel not go up and check Lumberjack Ledge, so he does not know that Fire Rod is on the Lumberjack Ledge like Qirn does.
Yeah, this could be a bad miss later. I know some runners don't like to check that, but because he does have the boots, it would be worthwhile to check it at this point because you can get to Lumberjack after doing Aghanim. So that's going to be a regrettable miss for him, unfortunately. Ooh, we found our last sword upgrade, the gold sword for Qirn in Spike Cave. So we now know where all the swords are today. I'm just going to see if I can recap them. One was in Palace of Darkness. We had that one, which was in the Spike Cave. We had one on the Catfish, and of course the fourth one, or the first one, is on the uncle at the back of the escape.
And I'm guessing. Well, no, Qirn is. This is probably Fat Fairy.
This would be a very good check at this point because the lamp. We know, even though we know the lamp can't be here, there is the possibility that nope, he's going right past the bomb. What's he doing?
He's going to South Grove Cave.
Yeah, that looks like what he's doing. He's doing the K45, I think, because he already did do the Stumpy, so he doesn't have to do that right now. I might have waited to route this in with the. Yeah, why didn't he do the dwarf? He can do the dwarf right now, can't he?
He could.
He could have rode this in with the dwarf. That might have been better routing and get the purple chest at the same time.
Well, now he's going back, and
by the way,
he'd only be going back for 2 things: either the big bomb or swamp, and that turn north means he's heading for Fat Fairy.
By the way, I think that chain I was just talking about, I think the lamp can be in there because the mirror was before the dark room. And I think they have the Titan's Mitt, which was... Actually, no, the Titan's Mitt was on Death Mountain. That would be a sequence break. Never mind. Can't be in the purple chest or... But it could be on the... Yeah, it can't be on the dwarf either. So yeah, never mind that. Argel's making his way up to the Tower of Hera right now. He did get the key, so he already knows that the key is there. He will finish Moldorm, and he'll probably leave immediately. And the reason he will leave immediately is because he also does not have a fire source yet. He doesn't even know that one of his 2 fire sources is on the Lumberjack Ledge. And I thought Qirn picked up the bomb again for a second. So let's see what's in Pyramid Fairy, one of my favorite locations. Today, it's not that good.
Just a bit of love. And I think Qirn might know how to do Dark Room Maga because he's going into
He's going for it. He's not wasting time. I think, yeah, we don't have fire rod either, so he can't even light the torches in the rooms as an alternative. Even though it's not considered in the logic, you can use the fire rod light torches, but because that's on Lumberjack Ledge, that's not an option either. He's just said enough of this, we're doing it.
Meanwhile, Argel is on his troll worm fight, and
he's angered the worm.
Yes.
But he gets it.
Gets it before falling down the troll hole.
He gets his piece of heart, and he will be leaving the Tower of Hera at this time with that crystal in hand. That is 4 crystals for both of our runners now. Qirn does have the knowledge advantage that he needs to get the fire rod from Lumberjack. Other than that, the runners are pretty much tied. So let's see what Argel decides to do at this point. He does not know yet just how nasty this is going to be today. He's doing the check of the medallion on Turtle Rock. Qirn is the one who has this information. Argel does not. So let's see if he will get that bombos information right now.
Ooh, Argel getting dead rocked.
Bad dead rock. So he changes his mind and he checks the cave instead there. I think this is where the hook shot was, if I'm not mistaken. Or was, no, actually...
Hook shot was Super Bunny.
Oh yeah, okay, that was the other one I was thinking. Good.
Qirn having a little bit of trouble. He got the key and now he's trying to make his way to the door.
Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, these dark rooms in Agnes Tower are awful. There are pits around in the dark that you fall in, you're back to the start of the room. So
we're not even there
see if
yet.
Can get to the door.
We're still just trying to do the maze.
We're talking about later on. This maze is bad too.
And I think, well, Qirn
he gave up and gonna give another go.
Yeah.
One nice thing about that gold sword, those ball and chain guards, they don't have a prayer.
Well, technically, those guards are like demonic incantations of the soldier's armor, so they never really had a prayer to begin with.
Okay.
And I thought that one was gonna work.
So he did make his way through into the next dark room on the 4th floor. This one is not very tough, but the one beyond it, I think that's where the pits begin, if I remember correctly. So
yep.
We're in some difficult terrain now. Let's see if he can do this. He found a guard. That's a good start. He's using the arrows as a means to guide himself. This is actually a very interesting... there, he found the hole.
Yep.
See? These are top runners, I just want to point out, and they're having trouble with this dark room. So this tells you just how tough this is. Most casual players, you want to come here with the lantern, or at least the fire rod if you're lucky, if you have an idea where the torch is, because you can see around with that as well. Otherwise, this is extremely tough. I wouldn't try this. Not a million years.
I will say there is a point where I tried to learn how to do this. And I think...
He's out of magic now, so he has to do it on his own. He uses the boomerang, picks up a free bomb, and falls. What do you think? Is he keep going, or is he gonna keep looking for that lamp?
Well, I'm curious why Qirn would have used Quake at that point, though.
Me too. I'm wondering that too. He might have hoped that the platforms showed themselves briefly, but that only works in the rooms that are intentionally invisible in full light.
I think he got it.
I think so too. And this is this is a fairly empty room, so he's moving on. I think there's still another dark room ahead, though, right before Aghanim. Nope. So it's that one's light.
This is the end of the dark line.
Oh, I thought there was another one. Okay.
Qirn made it! Hooray, Qirn!
Yay! A piece of heart and a heart container requires a big bomb. Thanks, game!
Not like we already figured that one out. Although, to be fair to the game for this one, we sequence broke Pod, and technically, you kind of needed the lamp before that, so... Yeah.
If he did the sequence, he would not have done Pyramid Fairy, because that would have been the clue right there for it. So yeah, I guess the thanks game doesn't really apply in this case.
Meanwhile, our goal is heading into Swamp Palace, and Cyclone, we like to play a little game when we get to Aga Tower. How many blue balls do you think Aga's gonna fire today?
Always 3, because, well, always. What do you think?
5? I have no idea.
Watch it be 4 just to be mean to both of us. And already 3 guesses in chat for 4. Get your guesses in chat. There's no official game for this one, but we're gonna see what we have here. As we have the first shot guaranteed, you're gonna find the first shot is always guaranteed. Shots 2 through 4 are 50-50, such as that one. 1 blue ball. And after 2 blue balls. So after we have 4 shots, which that was the second shot for attack, he goes into a lightning intermission, and we basically sit at the top of the room and watch him basically make a useless attack.
Side note, first chest of Swamp had the lamp.
Oh! 3 blue bars. So we're on my guess, so I'm kind of hoping it's just orbs from here on out. Nope, 4 blue balls. And he actually hit Aghanim with a sword, which is a big no-no and shocks you badly. One more hit, we're down. Yep, 4 blue balls today. For those people who said 4 in chat today, congratulations, we have no prize, this is not an official game, but congratulations.
And you're welcome for basically going right between us.
Yeah. So, Qirn is going to immediately make his way to the Lumberjack Ledge. And the reason he mirrored back to the Light World, just to clarify that for anyone wondering, is because now that Aghanim is completed and he has the mirror, he would have started in the Dark World if he had saved and quit. So he has to warp to the Light World now if he doesn't want to start in the Dark World. He's actually doing the dwarf, it looks like, before like the gate, or no, he's going to Skull Woods. I'm being made a liar in many ways today. Thank you, Qirn.
I would use the saying about what happens when you assume, but this is a family-friendly channel.
I think he's checking the bumper cave at the same time, so he can at least mirror over there and do Lumberjack once he checks bumper cave. That seems to be the logic. There's Bombos. Turtle Rock is now open, or the or at least able to be opened.
Or he's doing Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb now.
Maybe. Oh, actually, yeah, he did check bumper ledge already. I think it was a big 20 up there.
Also, I have another bit of breaking news. You know that Bombos medallion that we're gonna kinda need for Turtle Rock?
Yep.
Guess where that also is?
Yeah, I mentioned that's in Swamp Palace. I saw that. So that's a very important Swamp Palace day with both the lamp and that Bombos medallion today. So we're going to... I thought Qirn checked this right, but I think it's Argo who might check this now that I think about it. So Qirn is going to get his... Qirn is going to take his turn robbing the King's Tomb. Argo, meanwhile, is going to take his big bomb to the beautiful fairy in the pyramid and obtain his plentiful supply of life from her.
So, in some ways, this is good news for Argo because this means Qirn still has to do Swamp Palace at some point. The bad news for Argo is this does open up Ice Palace, which may make him send him further away from going to check Aga 1.
Yeah, he may not check the Lumberjack Ledge until he runs out of items, and that would be unfortunate because we know there's a big item there today. So Argo gets his 1 1/4 hearts from the Pyramid Fairy. Qirn drops into a tree, which somehow magically regrows as soon as he leaves the screen. I don't understand. And there's the fire rod for Qirn.
Video game physics, that's how you explain it.
Yeah, never question Nintendo logic, I guess. There it is again, already nice and fully grown.
So predictably, Qirn is making his way to Skullwoods. Argo, meanwhile, might be doing Smith's Chain, I would think.
Yeah, Qirn is making the most logical play. I mean, the fire rod's over here, Mothula's over here. Get it out of the way. You can do it now. So he's doing that. Argo is heading south. He might be getting the... yep, he's getting Jeremiah. No world tour for the frog today, at least on Argo's end. He's just going to go straight in and take the dwarf home. And actually, no, he is going to take him around for a little while for a quick run, get a little exercise, and hammer those pegs. And what is inside the hammer peg cave today? Inside we have bombs.
More bombs.
You should have picked those up. They're important. Qirn gets his key from the fairy, and he goes into the lair of Mothula. He will drop into that hole, and the fight shall ensue. And let's see how well a fight he gets on the Moth today.
Well, he has a butter sword that has been fixed because otherwise it's completely bugged, and you wouldn't be able to kill Mothula with the butter sword. But blankety missed, Mothula's done.
Finished. Aww, at least we know the Moth wasn't rich today. So I did not catch what the blacksmith item was. I'm going to assume it wasn't important because chat's not really reacting to it. But he does have the purple chest. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was nothing important. Sorry.
Yeah. And he is going to check K45. We know the K45 is not important already. In fact, it is again a big 20. So he is going to continue along. Let's see. He may check the bomb time because he does have the capability of mirroring there. So he may do that after turning the chest in. He leaves the chest behind. Oh, is it still going to be there? Because he left the screen.
He forgot that he had already done Stumpy.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Fortunately, the chest is still there. I wasn't sure if it was still there or not.
Yeah.
So he is going to take the chest. Go ahead.
To your question, the chest will still be there as long as you don't do travel in the 4th dimension.
Yeah, if you mirror, I know the chest does get left behind. I have seen that before. So he will mirror with the chest, however, and it will still travel with him. And he accidentally left it behind again somehow, and now he has to somehow magically cross a portal. He managed it. Oh, Gary had the flute today.
Toot, there's the flute. And that's probably not good news for Argo, because again, things about going further and further away from needing to go to Aga 1.
Now, I want to just clarify for logic purposes, and this is not really important for us now, but I want to just clarify for anyone wondering about logic in this game. Because the flute was behind Gary's lunchbox, you have to get the dwarf home in order to get Gary's lunchbox from their house in the Dark World. And the dwarf is located behind a rock that requires a Titan's Min. The Titan's Min is up on Death Mountain. Therefore, even if you were to consider the lamp being on Death Mountain, it is still impossible because the flute cannot be acquired until you get to Death Mountain. So just a little information on some of the logic and how that works today.
Alright, so I've seen a couple people mentioning in chat that they've just arrived, so we should probably do a quick recap. So, this is your standard vanilla Uncle Desherd standard mode seed. Dark World access was through your usual Moon Pearl Power Glove hammer. The bit of fun news is that the Fire Rod is blocked by the Lumberjack ledge. Qirn knows that, Argel doesn't. Qirn knows that because he's already finished Aga 1. Bombos side note you need for Meyer. That Bombos, by the way, is in Swamp Palace where the lamp is. Qirn did Aga 1 without lamp. And Argel is now getting the Ice Rod in Meyer Shed, which means we are going to need that flute to get the Ice Rod. Also means Pedestal's dead.
And I don't know if you pointed out that the Bombos is the medallion to get into Misery Mire as well. So that's for both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock today. So that completes our knowledge quest of dungeon entry today.
And as chat points out, this also is no mode. So basically, what we have left is Argel has to go check the Lumberjack tree and see that the Fire Rod is there, and that will put him into go mode. Qirn has to go to Swamp Palace to get the Bombos medallion, and then has to go turn in Gary's lunchbox for the flute to then go get the Ice Rod and Meyer Shed.
Yep, we know where everything is at this point to finish this game. All the runners have to do is find what we already know. And this is the advantage of being in commentary. We get to see what both runners are doing. They do not know what each other is doing. Races actually run on a 20-minute delay to help discourage any kind of cheating, so you can't screen snipe and watch your opponent competing without anyone knowing. So that's why the races run on that 20-minute delay, to promote fairness in the race. So there's no way they would know what each other has. Without some very, well, I'm not going to worry about that. Beans on toast is a good meal. Thank you, game. So yeah, once they find out what those items are, then or where those items are, they will be in go mode and they will be on the way to finish the game. We know that Desert Palace is not needed. We know that Misery Mire, even though we now know that Bombos lets you in there, we know it's also not needed. So if either runner goes towards that today, they're following a bad trail at that point.
Meanwhile, Argel is heading for Turtle Rock. For his sake, I hope we're Fire Rod locked out of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I agree. That if you get keys early on, it just makes you think that you have to keep going.
Argel chugging a green potion to be able to activate Bombos to open Turtle Rock.
So Qirn is going to use a hookshot trick there to get to the big chest. Just a compass in there, wasn't worth the effort. Hint tile, Ether is in Mimic Cave. We don't care, but thank you for the information. And he decides not to cross the bridge for some reason with the Canis Maria.
No, you know what it is? We got a hint earlier saying a unique item was in Mimic Cave. And then he sees that Ether's in Mimic Cave. So I guess his impulse was to leave, and then decided I'm still going to go in because there's still maybe items in Turtle Rock that aren't. Qirn meanwhile is going to drain his magic meter. Gonna put Cold Stare in a quarter, give him a few Butter Sword slashes, and Viola, Cold Stare dead.
That was clean. And Argel takes a death from the laser eye in the Turtle Rock first chest, but he does have a fairy. But I was going to say, that is a very clean Cold Stare fight. That was a very impressive fight from him. So, normally runners... Oh, he got stuck on the path. Oops.
The stout child kind of pushed him back in.
Yeah, very helpful. Wants to make sure he gets to use that ramp as long as possible, or that path as long as possible. So if this is a key, this is unfortunate. We're gonna find out in a moment as Chompy takes a bite out of Argo and also eats up the block that was up there. So that's also unfortunate. He takes another death.
Yeah.
Chompy had a fine meal. Chompy had a fine meal and made things hard.
And I think Argel says, I'm done.
Yeah.
Alright, come on, Argel. You need to flute to 3 and go check a tree. Not 8, 3!
Yeah. He was halfway there. He just has a 3 on each side. You go to Ice Palace.
Qirn, meanwhile, is on the Jeremiah chain, so this may be momentarily getting him closer to go mode. He still has to go to Swamp Palace.
Yeah, he will. I have a feeling he will do the purple chest right after this because that is common standard play. Something sharp is held with the fishes. Well, there you go. There's your catfish hint. But both players have the gold sword, so who cares? Yeah, he's going to make the play to take the flute back, get the flute from Gary's lunchbox, and he will probably go straight into Swamp after that, is my guess. So yeah, he does get the 20 pack from the wharf and immediately into the portal. Both runners, I think, did do Magic Bat earlier, so they don't need to do that now. Qirn is on his way with the purple chest, and he's already done the hammer pegs, so can take straight off. So Qirn is making his way back down to the mire area, which is en route to the, or not the mire area, the swamp area, which is en route to where the purple chest is deposited in the light world in Hyrule. And Qirn is about to get his flute. Qirn has gotten his flute, and he throws a rock. He's going to check the Bombos Medallion while he's here. Good play.
He can't.
Oh, he can't, sorry.
He's checking a Genus Cave.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have the Bombos yet. Didn't even notice he didn't have that. Okay.
Well, you kind of need the book to read the Bombos tablet.
Yeah. Actually, no, you don't. I don't think you need the book to read the tablet, only if you need to get the hint from it, because didn't Argo get it without the book?
Nope, you have to read...
Oh.
You have to read the way the NMG vanilla is set up, you have to read the book to know to hold your sword up high. Hence why you need the book to read the tablet.
So Argo is continuing through Ice Palace, and we know that... Go ahead.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you here, Cyclone, but we have important business because it is time once again for the playing of the National Swag Duck Anthem. And with that, the Hawk's about to rock, and we salute you. Cyclone, I apologize for interrupting. Actually, I don't apologize for interrupting. We always do that.
I wasn't going to say anything important anyways, that's fine. Argo is continuing his way through Ice Palace, which Qirn has already completed. He got some green goo from one of the chests there, which I assume Qirn also picked up. Doing the freeze ore room right now, going to get the chest in this room. And there's his key. And the Mire Shed for Qirn right now.
That gets some ice rod.
Yep, I was gonna say there's that ice rod.
Alright, looks like Qirn's heading for desert, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he's checking the ledge. I don't know if he's gonna go into the desert itself, but we'll find out in a second. Nope, he is. That's given what he knows, this is not a bad play, but or a bad gamble, but we do know that this is not going to be the right play today.
Now, the one thing he should be able to deduce is because Mire and Turtle Rock both need Bombos. That means Bombos can't be on the pedestal. So we got the big key and the compass in the left side swamp. Which actually we already saw. We already saw because Argel went there. So, sorry, I accidentally hit the mute button on my mic. Because we know Bombos is at both Mire and Turtle Rock, that means it can't be on the pedestal. Therefore, if Qirn is going to be dipping pendant dungeons, once he finds the required items, he knows he can just nope out. And there's a second item, and there's the nope out for Qirn.
That was a very quick item find in that, so at least it's a very minimal loss of time. And Argel starts his cold surf fight, immediately pulls out the bombos and shatters the shell. And let's see, he's far away from the eyes right now, so let's see if we can get up there in time to get him in the corner. He's trying for the left corner, upper left. He is keeping them up there. They're all dead. Just like that. Very clean fight. Both cold surf fights very clean today. Is Qirn making the swamp play? Qirn might be making the swamp palace play. I think Qirn is making the swamp palace play. He's gonna find his lamp. He's gonna hear a thwack of the logic being tied back together in terms of the Death Mountain sequence break, and then he's going to continue on and be disappointed that he could have come here a while ago.
I mean, we can ask him about it, but
yep.
I have to imagine Qirn was probably like, yeah, the lamp was probably in Swamp Palace, but I really don't want to go to Pendant Swamp Palace.
But it's kind of funny that I said, well, something else could be there, and something else is there, and that ice rod will be needed for Turtle Rock. So, not the ice rod. What was in here again? Oh, the bombos, I think, was what was in here. There's the lamp. He doesn't have any reaction to that, which doesn't surprise me, because many runners don't.
I think we co-commentated an inverted scene together, and I think you mentioned how much people like the bunny music in the Dark World and how much I don't like that. I do have to say my two favorite songs from this game are the Dark World theme when you're normal Link and the Light World Pendant music. Or I mean the Pendant Dungeon music, I should say.
I just like the ending music. The way it comes to if we're going to talk about music, the way it comes to an orchestral crescendo at the end, where you get to the pedestal and see what's on the pedestal, or the Master Sword sleeping in the vanilla game. I just like how that comes to an end in that music. That's my favorite track in this. But regardless of that, we do have Argel in Misery Mire. We know this is also an incorrect play. So they are both. So Qirn checked Desert Palace, and Argel fourth dimensionally checked the opposite of Desert Palace over in Misery Mire. So both runners did make one dip that we know is incorrect at this time. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when we get the bombos here, I think that will be everything for Qirn. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, that should be, because once he gets that bombos, he's got everything he needs to finish Turtle Rock and head for Ganon's tower, so...
Go mode in 3, 2, 1. Qirn is now...
1 hour, 30 minutes.
We're crossing each other.
1 hour, 30 minutes, 5 seconds, Qirn is into go mode.
And I think it's safe to say, even though there's a question whether Qirn knows the Turtle Rock Medallion, I think it's safe to say he probably did check, and I might have missed him checking, because I know Argel, I think, checked it. But I know one of them definitely did, and it's safe to assume that Qirn knows what it is, because as soon as he got the bombos, he was like, okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of them checked Turtle Rock.
So Argus still needs to get to the Lumberjack Ledge. That's the thing that he really needs to do right now. He needs to check the Lumberjack Ledge. He needs to find the Fire Rod there. He needs to go straight to Aghanim's Tower. He needs to do that. He needs to get the Fire Rod. He needs to finish this game from there, because that will be his go mode. No bones about Lumberjack Ledge is playing a role today.
Yeah. And frankly, Argel is running out of options. He's also running out of time.
Yes, this is now a countdown clock for him. Qirn is now on his way to finishing the game. Argel has to find that Fire Rod now to have any chance of competing in the end of the seed.
Because the thing is, even with the Fire Rod is it's not just blocking one dungeon, it's also blocking Skullwoods. So he still has 2 crystals he has to get once getting the Fire Rod.
That's correct. And actually taking a closer look at Qirn's tracker, he does have 6 crystals. This is his 7th and final crystal dungeon to complete. So Argel is, at this point, significantly behind. He does have to finish those 2 dungeons. He's dungeon dipping, hoping to find, obviously, the Fire Rod, because as soon as he finds that, he's done. Obviously, he doesn't want to do Aghanim's Tower because that's a long trek, but for that reason, I think that's why he's putting off the Lumberjack, because he hopes it's in a place that he can check quicker and waste less time. But it's just one of those situations where the bad news is you have to do it. And this is that seed where you have to do it.
It's interesting because normally, meanwhile, Argel's in the eyeball shooting gallery. It's interesting because in kind of the evolution of how these runners run like a standard or an open mode, it used to be kind of common practice that one of the first things you do while you're doing Kakariko and Lost Woods is that you would check Lumberjack Ledge to know if Aga is required. But what we've seen a lot since then is runners will bypass it until they have the means to actually complete Aga 1 and have the boots to open Lumberjack Ledge. And so it's kind of in some ways safe to say that, you know, this is one argument for why you do that check early on.
I have always been, I still am a fan of doing the Lumberjack check right away. You're already in the area. Why not just take the 10 seconds to go check the cave and make sure there's nothing important? That way you know you can do all the quick checks. You know you don't have to do Aghanim's Tower for an item. That's, like, it's better than going through the entire game, not having checked it, not finding what you need, and then all of a sudden realizing you have to add 5 minutes to your game just because you never checked that item. And I know some runners would swear by that logic because most of the time it's not going to be in play. It's a low percentage play. But you're in a race, you have to consider things like that, and the low percentage play could very well be where your progression is. It could give you a huge advantage if you know that that's there, and that's what's happening with Qirn right now. He knew it was there, and he was able to plan around it and do some go mode.
I mean, that speaks also proper execution, because once Qirn got the boots, and had the means to do Aga 1 minus a lamp, he went to Lumberjack Ledge and saw it. So, you know, it's kind of pick your poison. How do you want to tackle this? You want to waste the 10 seconds every time just to make sure that it's not the case? Or do you know, remember things to a point that you don't, if you do get to that point where, okay, Aga 1 is now possible, I better make sure I route in going to check Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, it's really one of those things that's kind of like a, either way you do it, it's a gamble. It's not as much of a gamble, I think. This is just a case of personal opinion, what a runner prefers to do. Some runners will have that preference, and whatever they do, they're going to do it every time, even if they have a seed like this where the Lumberjack is important. Very next seed, they're still not going to check it because it's considered low percentage play, and in their mind, it's not going to happen very often. And it's just unfortunate for Argel that this time it was that low percentage play that paid off. We did get our coffee break from Argel, by the way. We didn't even comment on that. Just some bombs down there today, so he will not find anything there.
Meanwhile, Qirn is going to be making his way into Trinex. Got Butter Sword and Boots. It's entirely possible we could see a 0 cycle from Qirn if he knows how to do it.
Indeed. We have three heads, 2 of which will extend out and need to be hit with the fire and ice rods respectively, or maybe reverse that. Very clean kill on the first head. Working on the second head right now, which also very clean kill. This is going to be a very quick fight. We need to get our game ready, which I will do in just a second here. But so I'll just note that if you are a subscriber to the Speed Gaming channel, or if you have donated 250 bits or more, we have a game that we play in chat, which I can talk about right now because Trinex is dead. You are able to guess where the big key is in Ganon's Tower. Number from 1 to 22, as there are 22 chests it can be in. If you are watching on the VOD, you will be able to just play along with us, but you're not going to be able to participate in our game, obviously. Feel free to come by the Twitch chat sometime during a live race. You can play with us. Jack Streffy, where do you think that big key is today?
Usually I like to go sports ball references with my numbers because I really have no standard number. Touchdown 7. We'll go with that.
Okay. And as for me, I already put it in chat. Always 11 because, well, always. And between us, we have 7-11, so one of us has to be right.
Charlie Brown said 7 come 11.
That works too. And we are going to stop the game, which, if you are hearing this, it was already stopped.
Yep. All right. Chest number 1. Small key number 2. Another small key.
And he does not do the right side.
Yep. He's going left. You could.
I just noticed that we had both mail upgrades. I never even noticed the red mail on Qirn's side. So both runners have the red mail now as Argo gets his from Agina. Argo is going back to the Misery Mire area.
3, $5. 4. Actually, that was 4 and 5. 6, 5 more bombs, and 7 piece of heart.
Okay, that takes 7 out of the equation. We're gonna get to 8, which is the fire bar, the rotating fire bar room. So number 8, you are up next. Please come up to the podium. And we have $20. Number 8, please leave the podium. Number 9, you are next in the fire snake room. And Argo is going into Desert Palace. He is going to clear out Desert Palace fully, and you just have to feel bad for him knowing where the fire rod is. That he is doing on the opposite side of the world doing something he doesn't need to do.
Number 9. Small key.
Yep. Didn't mean to trip you there again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 chests in Rando Room, numbers 10 to 13 today in this game. And this is, in my opinion, a very good place for it to end up because, well, it means you didn't have to do right side at all if the right side play wouldn't mean anything. So number 10 is 10 bombs. That can be an uncle item in Randomized. 50 rupees, a compass, and bombs. Well, we know the right side play full right would have worked today because it is somewhere in the back. Argel just realized he does not have the big key for Desert Palace, a couple sword swings, and he mirrors out. And he's probably going to check the front of Desert Palace now.
Yeah. That is almost as unfortunate as the fact that the fire rod is at Lumberjack and Argel still hasn't checked that. That is the most unfortunate part of all this, but Bob got to live because we didn't bonk the thing off the torch, so now chest number 14, although Qirn is now going to try to kill a Bob, and fails, but gets a riot shield.
It teleported out of the area. That was very nice. Good move by Bob. And something we hope that Argel does is we hope he actually realizes that both items are in here and does not make the trip to the back again. That is... Well, he just got the big key, and I think he's going to make the trip to the back again. Oh, no. Oh, no, maybe not.
15 map, 16, there it is.
We have a winner. And, yeah, Argel is going back into Desert Palace. I think, yeah, this is very unfortunate. So, big key, number 16 today. And congratulations, a quick shout out in the chat to Morbus. Let me say that again, Morbus99, who is today's Big Key Guessing Game winner. Jex Refi, what does he win today?
He wins a spot on our leaderboard. I mean, I've got something else if you want me to give it to him.
Spot on the leaderboard is a good prize. It depends on you.
I'm sorry, yeah, I think he cut off there.
A spot on the leaderboard is a good prize. Depends if you want to give more than that.
I mean, if Morbus would like, I can also offer him a year's supply of randomizer seeds. All you have to do is just go to ALTTPR.com to claim the prize. Offer only valid through version 32 of the randomizer. Offer completely ignores the fact that anybody can go to ALTTPR.com to claim the prize. The randomizer is for everyone. However, your randomizer lasts longer than 4 hours. Please consult the spoiler log. Have your doctor check you for eye suckitis, which involves an addiction to powder and potions. Terms and conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Japan 1.0 ROM not included.
Congratulations.
Alright, so I think while we were busy with the big key guessing game, I think Argel's probably heading for the pedestal.
That is not good at all. He's gambling on the pedestal. The irony of this is he could check the Lumberjack item on the way to the pedestal and do it a lot quicker. Yeah, this is... I'm wondering if he will have the fire rod in hand before Qirn even finishes at this point. Actually, he won't have it in hand, but the question will be will he know where it is? And by the time he knows where it is, I'm actually going to guess that he may decide not to finish at that point, because he will be frustrated once he knows it's there, and Qirn will probably be done in the next few minutes.
The interesting thing about this, because we were talking about item counting while Argel was in Desert, I specifically remember Argel getting right before Argus and realizing he had all the items because he noped out before finishing Argus. So this is also unfortunate because of that fact that he's already been here once and did everything but that.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
this is extra time, as you were just saying. Sorry to cut you off again.
No, that's fine. Qirn ran out of magic to powder the anti-fairies to get a health refill, decides to forego it and just kill Troldorm 2 anyway. And steals Troldorm's last possession for 50 bucks.
That was his 50 bucks. Why are you taking the 50 bucks? You have enough money. So Qirn is now entering what we like to refer to as the mathematical fight, or the geometry fight, or the trigonometry fight. Please take your pick. So the first triangle is created, and two of them are in the same place, so it's more of a straight line. I think I saw 2 hits there. Now we have more of a triangle, and we have another 2 hits. And I think we're going to have a 2-2-2. Yep. Oh, no, he only got 1 on the first cycle. I can't count. But that does finish the fight.
Whether you can count or not doesn't matter, because Aga 2 is down, and it is time for the big pig.
And the question is, will he be bacon, ham, or pork today? Well, not that it really matters. We're going to kill it anyway.
Pretty much.
So Argo does get the blue pendant from Swamp House, as he does finish Argus. We know this is just a nasty bread trail, as he's going to head to the pedestal. He's going to realize that there's nothing there that he needs. I mean, there could be a shovel there, or I think, because we have... No, we've seen the shovel. I didn't notice that Qirn got that. So the shovel and the mushroom are both gone. Ether is not there. Yeah, there's nothing really on the pedestal except possibly the book. But he's going to go pull it, and he's probably going to walk by Lumberjack afterwards. He's going to realize, oh no.
Meanwhile, blink and he missed it. Qirn's already into phase 3.
You mean there were 2 phases already?
Pretty much.
Wow.
If you're not careful, the third one's going to be gone.
Yeah. He's halfway through phase 3 now, and that's the 3rd bounce, and Ganon's being very kind with the teleports today. Didn't do a lot of it. So, did you find the arrows in Dark Palace? Yes, I did. Here, have one.
Here's one.
Doesn't get the torch.
Yeah, but shouldn't be a problem. That should set up for a nice double there.
Triple. That's a triple. Great finish. That was a nice timing for the torch lighting to pull off that triple. Good fight by Qirn. He is the first runner to finish. He just has to cross a very treacherous bridge.
But not treacherous enough today, because Qirn finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 38 seconds. Spam those GGs in chat.
And get your pedestal hype in chat as well, as Qirn is asked to be the Triforce's friend. That's a very nice offer. Meanwhile, your pedestal today is bombs.
3 pendants for 3 bombs.
Argo has stopped moving. Since you have the SRL chat up, I'm going to... Yeah, he reset the timer. He forfeit.
Yep.
I do not blame him. I wonder if he will walk by the Lumberjack Ledge for us to confirm what we're about to tell him, because he will not be happy to see that. Anyway, we're going to see if we can get both of them in here for an interview. I don't blame Argo for the forfeit, because that was a very, very unfortunate situation. He ended up leaving the area without checking it and never went back because he had no other reason to go back there, and never got around to checking it. So really an unfortunate way for Argo to finish. But Qirn played the seed very well, and very good win for him today. Let me see if we can get him in here now. Qirn is in our setup room. Let's bring him in first. Qirn!
GG's.
Hello. Thank you.
So how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I heard what happened with Argel in the IRC. Kind of a bummer to miss the fire out on Lumberjack. I wonder how close we would have been if that hadn't have been the case.
You guys, I mean, to be perfectly honest, like, I'm trying to remember the race at this point. Man, that was a long... It's hard to remember everything. I want to say one of you... You were actually ahead, because Argel had some problems with the dark room in Pod. So you were kind of already ahead, and then you, finding out that the fire rod was at Lumberjack Ledge was kind of what sealed the deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that Lumberjack check was the one thing that pretty much set this race apart. There was the fact that Argo never went up there, and I think it was, I don't know what, 45 minutes since you had checked it, but when you finished the game, the fact that Argo never went up there and just checked everything else, went through all the pendant dungeons. He actually pulled the pedestal. He forfeit at the pedestal. Which
I saw
bombs, by
that
the way.
synced. I saw that synchronized Triforce and pedestal pull. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I kind of deduced that the lamp was in Swamp Palace a while ago, so I was feeling pretty great about that once I realized that the Dark Aga play allowed me to skip at least something in Swamp. So I was trying to I did everything but Swamp at the end there because I thought, well, I got to make the most of my Dark Aga play.
And we knew that Swamp was also the home of Bombos today as well. So even if you were comfortable without the lamp, you still had to go in there obviously to get the Bombos anyway.
Yeah, which is a little unfortunate, but I think that, you know, what the seed wanted you to do, if you did it kind of in a more normal way, was for you to go to Swamp, get the lamp, you know, get the Bombos, and then you would have finished Argus too. There's a good chance you probably wouldn't have been to, I forget where the Hintao was, but it was a pretty late game. I think it was Ice Palace. No, I forget. That told you that there was nothing left side of Swamp or the big chest, so you probably could have cleared the whole Swamp Palace looking for other items.
Before we continue, I want to note that Argo did say he won't be able to join us, so we'll just be Qirn with us today. So, good game, I want to say to Argo very quickly, and thank you for giving us the race. We're sorry to see how it ended, obviously, but very good effort on the run today.
Absolutely. GG's to Argo. So one question that we were kind of talking about, because of what happened with Lumberjack and the Fire Rod, we kind of talked about the fact that most runners now basically don't do a Lumberjack check early on coming out of Sanctuary, and instead choose to wait until getting the boots. So what, I assume because that's what you did, that's kind of your thoughts on it, but I guess anything you'd like to add in terms of that conversation?
I mean, I used to route in Lumberjack a lot earlier. It really depends. There's a lot of factors for me. I think some people do that where like they just wait for boots, but for me, it's there's a lot of factors. Like if I come out of, like in a standard seed, for instance, if I come out of Escape with very strong hints towards Aga, then I'll check Lumberjack. Like if I have a sword and a cape and a lamp or something, or even a hookshot is a really strong indicator. Then I'll check Lumberjack because that incentivizes an early Aga play if I was thinking about that. The other big thing is whether or not I have enough bombs for Kakariko coming out of Escape or just starting the game. Then I'll go to I'll go to Lumberjack on my way to check all the tree poles in hopes that I'll get bombs. So it just really depends. In this seed, there was no reason for me to go up there quite yet, so I just saved it. I didn't even have the lamp, so I was like, Aga's not even on the table. So even when I had the boots, I was like, I don't even have the lamp yet, but it's on my way, so I'm going to go check it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I guess the other thing was, I assume pendants, you're like everyone else in that pendant swamp is kind of the plague.
Yeah, well, you could just waste so much time there. So, I like to route it in early when you have good breadcrumbs, but there were no good breadcrumbs for Swamp this seed. Hookshot was used for other things, I'm pretty sure, in Hookshot Cave, or maybe I'm lying. But definitely the flippers were required to get Darkhold access, so there was no strong breadcrumbs. Otherwise, I would have gone.
Just to clarify, I think Hookshot was in Super Bunny, if I remember correctly. I don't think there was anything useful in Hookshot Cave. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me here. But yeah, the Hookshot was way up there on Super Bunny, and by then we were already in Death Mountain sequence break. So we were kind of staying up there doing things for a little while before we came back down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't do it, because I hadn't found a way yet that Death Mountain was in Logic, and I hadn't deduced where Lamp was until... I hadn't deduced that Lamp was in Swamp yet. So anyway.
Yeah. And chat just confirming that I was right on that, just a shield if you consider that to be useful.
Yeah, well, it did come in handy in that mimic room in GT, so...
All right, well, Qirn, any final thoughts before we wrap up shop?
Nope, except very happy I got to do Dark Aga. It's never really given me that much trouble before, like where I had to mirror out. I got lost in the maze a little bit, but it's kind of a bummer it didn't get to be a closer race between me and Argel. So I'm looking forward to the next one. Hopefully it'll be a lot closer.
Yeah, we noticed you're having a little bit of trouble there with the Dark Aga, and that's a very difficult room even under ideal circumstances. So being able to just do that is really well done. We did enjoy watching you on the run today. We did enjoy watching the race between both of you. We look forward to seeing your future races.
Thank you.
So I want to just cover the schedule very quickly here. We do have a race, believe it or not, this may be surprising, but we do have a race on right now. It started at 12 a.m., literally at midnight. It is a race between Daring Retreat and Swerve, and it is on Speed Gaming 6. Yes, Speed Gaming 6. So that is over there right now. JP and Bungie to the Tree are over there commentating that right now. Feel free to join them over there with that race already in progress. So Rando After Dark is going on tonight. Tomorrow, the first race on the schedule is on Speed Gaming 5 between Vivi and In the Name of DT, one of our tournament admins. That is at 1:20 p.m. Going down the list, I see a race set for ALTTP Randomizer at 1:30. That is between Dark Shadows 59 and JTB. And I'll cover just one more here if I can. We have, on ALTTP Randomizer 2, there's a race between Dracaris, I think is how you say that. Dracaris and Philion, another of our tournament admins. So that's on ALTTP Randomizer 2. Feel free to follow all the Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 to 6 channels and the ALTTP randomizers up to 5. And you can catch all the races as they occur on these channels. Quick look at the Speed Gaming schedule as well in terms of other content. We do have more races on Speed Gaming tomorrow as well. Feel free to type schedule in chat or go to speedgaming.com/schedule and you can bring that up. I want to point out another item that's on right now, and Jax Raffi just put that, thank you. Another item that's on right now is the Super Mario Kart Marathon going on the main channel. That ends at 2 a.m. tonight, and there's another one from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow. Other events on tomorrow include Undertale. We also have the Octopath Traveler Tournament Finals, which will be in both English and French on Speed Gaming Francais. We also have some Cuphead and Metroid Zero Mission and Final Fantasy Randomizer going on tomorrow as well, not to mention more races in the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. Check the schedule for full information. Jax Raffi, any other things you want to say tonight?
No, I mean, other than the standard stuff of, again, thank you to Qirn and argelxd for putting on quite a show for us tonight. Be sure to give both of them follows on Twitch. Another shout out to our wonderful tracker, Crunchy Chocobo. She always does a great job keeping track of all the items that we find across this zany world. Thank you to the Speed Gaming staff and the volunteers that make this tournament happen behind the scenes. And, of course, Cyclone, always a pleasure to have you in the commentary booth.
Likewise, nice commentating alongside you as well, Jax Raffi. I think second time we've done that. And look forward to seeing each other again in this capacity. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up here. And I just want to remind one more time, the Octopath Traveler, again, is the tournament finals. That's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. I don't think I know that before. That is the tournament final. So if you don't check out the Mario Kart Marathon, if you're not checking out any races in this tournament, go check that out tomorrow. That's fine display from the two top runners in that particular race format. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight myself. I'm going to give the final word to Jax Raffi and just wish you all happy rando. Jax, you have to finish it.
And that final word is what I usually say. See you next mission.